We all have a mission to fulfill in this life, and I want to talk about how you can discover what yours is. We spend a ton of time helping our kids and even other people that we know discover and fulfill their missions. And a lot of times it can be easy to really get lost in that and not work on our personal mission. And having said that, let me just say, helping other people, specifically your kids, discover their mission is one of your missions. But that is not the only one that you have. There are other things that you are called and prepared to do in this life that are really, really important for you personally to do. They'll bring satisfaction to you and they'll help people around you in a way that really nobody else can do. So I want to talk about how you can discover those things. As a young mom, it can feel like it's too hard, I'm too busy, I've got too much going on, I'm, ballet lessons and karate and dinner and helping the neighbors out. There's just so much happening that a lot of times we don't even think about looking for our own missions. It's just not on our radar. And then suddenly we're in middle age and we feel like, I've missed the boat. Other people somewhere magically came up with time and are doing fabulous things and owning businesses that help people and are making a difference in the world, and I just missed it. And so there's this sense of really having missed out and feeling like it's too late to accomplish anything, which is absolutely not true. And then we get into very mature adulthood, and a lot of times it can feel like I've had my moment, I've had my day, and it's passed and there's nothing more I can really do. Nobody really needs to hear from me, nobody's asking, and I'm not sure what I can do that would matter anymore. So let me just say, to begin with, you have a mission, no matter how old you are, no matter how old your kids are, or if you don't even have kids, it doesn't matter. You have a mission to fulfill in this life, and the fact that you can do it, that you should do it, will make such a difference to everybody around you, especially yourself. It will make such a difference in how you spend your time and how satisfied you are. So I want to go over two of my favorite mission-oriented books and talk about how they talk about discovering your own mission. This one is my absolute favorite. This is Cure for the Common Life by Max Lucato. And the whole point of this book, I'm just kind of going to summarize this book for you. The whole point is to discover the indications in your life that you have specific talents and abilities and sort of gather them all up and say, oh, I see, this is what I'm really, really good at. And now I'm going to focus my time and my energy on those things because I'm fabulous at them, and also I have a lot of satisfaction from doing those things. So the process that he uses in discovering what all of those things are is really fascinating. He says, I want you to look through your life from childhood all the way up through adulthood to however old you are, and just come up with one line describing several moments in your life where you did something really well and you really, really enjoyed doing it. And this is not something that's like, I graduated from high school. We're not looking for a huge accomplishment. We're looking for more like, oh, I created a game that my brothers and sisters and I played. We were really bored and I created this game out of my head and then we all had a great time. We're looking for those little moments of creation. And you just find them throughout your life, things that you did really well that you really enjoyed doing. Write them down. And then once you've got kind of a big list, and let me just read you some of the things that he has in here as people's ideas, because they're little and they're very specific. And so you're not looking for massive major things, just little ones. Like, I tackled the runner 10 yards from the goal line. I befriended a Russian girl who spoke no English. I increased my paper route to 150 customers. I supported my whole family for 2 years. I turned my stereo into a radio station and broadcast to the neighborhood kids. I built a stereo set from a kit. Think of those times when you were just so happy and just loving life and you kind of lost track of time because what you were doing was so satisfying and so fun. Write all those down and then pick one out from your childhood, pick one out from your youth, and pick one out from your adulthood. And you're going to take those three experiences and write all the details about them. You're really going to delve into the things that made that experience so satisfying for you. And you write these details, you want to use as many descriptive words as you possibly can because you really want to get down to the meat of what was it about this that I really, really loved and I was really good at. So once you have those details all written out, you do one more thing, and that is record what about this particular situation was so satisfying to you. What made it so that you look back on this years later and you think, oh, That was amazing. That was really awesome. I loved that moment. And you write down specifically what satisfied you about that situation. So I just want to read you one of these to give you an idea of maybe how one would look. Led the crossing guard patrol in grade school. Here are the details. That was their one line. So here's the details. It was my responsibility to make sure the schedule was organized and that the kids had all of the stations around the school covered before and after school. I weeded out some of the more unreliable kids and replaced them with the other kids I recruited to help. During our times on duty, I'd tour around to make sure everything was going well and help or direct the kids when needed. That was the description. Lots of details in there. There were some feelings, there were lots of actions, lots of stuff that they were doing. And then what felt most satisfying to you? Well, we didn't have any accidents and the whole safety patrol worked better than it ever had before. Okay, so that is an example of something that they did that was from a childhood one. You're gonna do that in childhood, young adulthood, youth, and then your adulthood. When you have all three of those written down, you're gonna go through and underline all of the verbs. The verbs are your talents. These are the things that you're really good at. These are your strengths. These are the things that you take action on in a very natural and powerful way. So some of the verbs that this person had was schedule, organized, weeded out, recruited, tour around. So you got to see all these different things that they did, these actions that they're taking in this experience. Now, after you have and you do that with all three of your experiences, then you go through and you circle all of the nouns. And these are the topics. These are the things that you interact with. It could be people, it could be things, it could be a specific group of people that you're really good at working with, maybe the elderly, or you're really attracted to working with young children, or you're really good at working with teenage boys. Whatever, you may have a specific group that you really like working with. On this particular one, the nouns would be kids, school, kids again, kids, lots of kids in that one. So she had a lot of experiences where she was working with kids in that one. Now that was a childhood one and it was about school. So as you go through, as she went through her other ones, she may have had other nouns that she worked with as well, but maybe not. Maybe she's just really good at working with kids and that showed up early in her life. So you underline all of your verbs. Those are the actions or the strengths that you really have in your life. You circle all of the nouns. That tells you who or what you're really good at interacting with. And then the last thing you do is you write down in each specific situation, you say, what really motivated me to get up and do that and keep doing that when it got hard? You know, in that particular situation, how did you do it 3 months in? How did you continue doing the rounds and working with kids and weeding out the ones who weren't working and putting in new ones? What was it that motivated you to keep taking the actions as this big project continued? That motivation is really, really important because you'll find themes that work throughout all of your experience. Some things just really motivate you and you want to find out what those motivations are. And then you'll look at the relationships and say, what was my relationship? So in that example that I read, the relationship was they were in charge. She was the organizer. She was the one who went through and made the rosters and set up, you know, she decided who was going to be standing where. She was the monitor, made sure that everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, and also the corrector. If things were off, she was going to be the one to correct it. So knowing what your role is in relationship to others is also really important because these are, again, moments that you feel so satisfied and you know you're doing it well. So those are the roles that you're going to need to be playing in your life as you fulfill your mission. I think I've said this 3 times, but now the last thing that you need to do is write down what about this situation was so satisfying to you? What brought so much joy to your heart? And the ones that she listed, we didn't have any accidents. So keeping people safe was so satisfying to this person. Whatever you do, whatever your situation was, there's something about it that brought you a lot of satisfaction. And that's really important because it's going to give you your reason, your why for doing what you do. And that a lot of times is more motivating than anything else, is just knowing why it is that you're trying to accomplish the thing that you're doing right now. So write down in each of those 3 areas what it is about that really brought satisfaction to you. Then you're going to turn it into a script. Now, let me tell you, I'm not a big fan of other people telling me precisely how I should say things. And I really didn't want to do this when I first found it. I thought, don't tell me what to do. But I went through and I was obedient and I wrote it down, and I tell you, it is so personalized and so potent and so very powerfully you. It's the specific things that you are good at, that you are interested in, that you motivate you, and that you have your particular role in this. It is really, really powerful if you do actually follow this script. So let me tell you what the script is, and you can keep it. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to follow if you don't like it, but it is actually really powerful. So the first thing to know is that he's actually labeled it as the story, S-T-O-R-Y, and it's an acronym, and I didn't necessarily use the same words he used there, but it makes sense. You'll see. The themes in my story show that God has put me together so that I love to, and then you put in all of your strengths. Those are all of your verbs, the things that you do that you're really naturally good at. That's your S in story. Second thing, I particularly like to do that with, and then you insert all of your topics. Those are your nouns that you've circled. These are the things or the objects or the people, the group of people that you're naturally good at. So I'm very good at working with these. Then I work best in optimal conditions. O for story, optimal. But this is, these are your motivations. The things that really make you continue to try. These are your optimal conditions because you just naturally want to keep trying. You are motivated in this situation. And I am at my best when I am in the role of leader, follower, spokesperson, cheerleader, whatever that you have written down, your relationship with the things or the people in your experiences. This is where you are going to be very, very happy to be working. All these themes of my story work together so that I can, and this is your satisfaction thing. This is the thing that you do that makes the whole experience worth it, that you get done and you're like, I loved doing that because whatever, that's your yes, that's your satisfaction, your why for doing what you're doing. When you write down this paragraph, when you put in all the things that have to do with you, it is so, so powerful. I really encourage you to do it. You don't have to, obviously, but I'm just saying, if you're looking to figure out what your mission is, this is a really, really powerful way to do it. And now I'm going to give you another way to discover your own mission, and it's actually a lot easier and a lot quicker. It comes from this book, Phases of Learning, written by Oliver DeMille. This is actually about phases of life, and the part that we're talking about is the very end, because that's when you get to your own personal life mission. So, finding your life mission. All this is a list of 12 or 13 items. Just look at it and see what rests on your heart, what feels like, yes, I would love to do that. I'm naturally good at that. I would love to spend time in that. Here's the first one. I'm going to read it to you. Be a mentor, build protégés. A scholar, fill in the gaps of your education and go deeper in your areas of expertise. Citizen, increase freedom. An entrepreneur, add value. Be a sentinel, warn upcoming generations. A philosopher, make classics of your own. A philanthropist, selflessly increase happiness. A disciple, let go of baggage and discipline your life. An artist, create beauty. A statesman, change the world for good. A healer, change the one. An elder, never retire but get out and serve, serve, serve. Or a grandparent, leave a legacy. One or maybe more than one of those is going to really reach out to you and make you feel like, ooh, I like that. That sounds like something exciting that I'd like to participate in or learn more about or do more with. That is something that you feel drawn to. That is your life mission. Go with it. Start working with it. You can really impact the people around you. In fact, you need to. Every single one of us is given specific gifts and specific abilities, and if we use those talents, everybody is benefited. I am so grateful for the people around me who have used their talents to reach out and guide me and encourage me and motivate me and comfort me. I can't do it alone. Nobody can. And you are an important part of that. The people that you can touch might only be able to be touched by you and your personal experiences. So what you bring just cannot be replicated. You are doing something that is of enormous magnitude and worth. Keep it up. Just keep pushing forward. You are making such a big difference in the world. Thank you. I'll catch you on the next one.